Howdy everyone, it's me once again, the one and only Killer Dan. And today, I'm going to be reviewing another kaiju film for you folks, because I never get sick of these. Well, the good versions anyway. So, this is a film I've already reviewed in the past, so you might be thinking, why the hell am I redoing my review? Okay, just so you know, I'm not redoing anything, okay? Not redoing the review. The review for this film, for the original Japanese version, is still on my account. But, okay, I know that sounds confusing, but the thing is that I'm going to be reviewing the American version of Gammera, the very first film he made it way back in the mid-1960s, and this one's titled Gamera the Invincible, which was originally titled Gamera the Giant Monster. Again, I've already reviewed Gamera the Giant Monster. I've reviewed the Japanese version a while back. Well, okay, not that while back. It's been like, what, a few months ago? So I thought I would review the American version, which, again, is Gamera the Invincible. Probably the most common DVD release that you're going to be looking at, folks, when it comes to video stores. Well, in certain video stores anyway, folks. Of course, there's been other releases. And these releases were not done by the same American company. And there's been quite a few DVD releases over the years, obviously, folks. Because, yeah, this film did get a cult following, I guess you can say. There were actually fans of this film. But that's the thing, folks. You may not see these DVDs in stores. I mean, yes, it would be in stores, but not in the more mainstream stores like Target, Best Buy, and so forth. You'd be lucky to find a Best Buy if at all. But not that I would recommend getting this version anyway, because this movie's terrible. I'm gonna tell you right off the bat, it's a god awful movie. I can suggest the Japanese version is far superior in a lot of ways. So anyway, folks, I could say that I do have this. You see this set right here, folks? That 50 sci-fi films. I do have this set, so I actually do have it there. And just so you know, it was also re-released also in another packet as well, in this one here. So, like I was saying, folks, it was actually re-released, re-released, re-released quite a few times over the years. Because a lot of these companies over here in the States do realize this character did get a cult following over the years. So I guess you can say they were trying to make as much money off of this as much as they can. Which I guess I could see why, I suppose. But this could actually confuse a lot of people, because a lot of people are not aware of the fact that this is just the American version that they're looking at. They may never come across the actual version of the film, which in some ways is rather sad when you think about it. Because, like I said a moment ago, the Japanese version is far superior in every way. So basically, I want to just cover this version because I did review the original version of some months back, and I'd been reviewing some of the American Godzilla films versions anyway. So I just thought this could be a good excuse to talk about a kaiju film. And kaiju means giant monster in Japanese. Yes, sir, folks. So I just thought this would be a good idea to do so. And like I said, oh boy, this was re-released by different companies. But that's okay by me, I guess, because I guess people need to get exposed to the character one way or another. Even though this is a lesser version of what it's supposed to be. So just so you know, folks, and this might seem like a little crazy because this film was released quite a few times. Which, if you're not aware of it, it can be rather confusing because a lot of people might be thinking that there might be different copies of the sequels or whatever, but no, there's a bunch of copies of the first movie. That's all these sets are. It's maybe a company with the sequels or maybe some other sci-fi movies, but it can be really confusing. But all these sets I just showed do contain the very first Gamera film, the American version, and maybe accompanied with other films or maybe other sequels of this series. Again, folks, the American title of the film is Gamera the Invincible, just so you know. But of course, I'm going to be referring to the one I would actually watched it on, the VHS tape, folks. Yep. So let's just start with review this version on this tape. So one second, folks. Let me see. See, folks, I do need to protect myself, you know. Yeah. This version was again re-released later on in this collection as well, folks. So you may come across this as well. And of course, once again, folks, this film was released in a different packet with several other movies as well. Of course, this film was severely edited down because, of course, for kids. Yep. Let's keep this movie family friendly for children to keep them safe. Even though people are dying in these movies, even people are dying in the buildings, there's death and destruction everywhere. But oh, okay, let's keep it family friendly despite what I just said happens in the fucking movie. Dumb, folks. Really, really dumb. Why does everything have to be centered for the kids? That's stupid. Well, I guess that means I can't have any adult fun in any kind of way because gotta censor everything in movies. Of course, as always, I do have to talk about the plot of this movie. And I really don't know why I'm even bothering with this because the plot line is so paper thin, you forget about it as it goes along. But anyway, basically, let's just get into the plot, shall we? Let's make this over with, shall we? It basically centers around the idea that Gammera himself has been released from his icy tomb, so to speak, after an incident of this sort icy place where they were like having like a fight going on with these airplanes, and you wouldn't know judging from the American version, but in the Japanese version, there was like these two nations fighting each other. I guess it's supposed to be referring to World War II, but you really don't get the gist of that in the American version. But anyway, that happens. A monster has been released, so everybody's in chaos. There's a giant monster causing destruction. So the world's top scientists are up to the task to come up with some sort of plan to stop this horrendous creature from basically destroying the world. And so, okay, sounds like a generic monster movie, but okay. Here's the thing, yeah, but I know that the Japanese version was kind of like that too in some ways, but the Japanese version was basically had more. There's more to it, but a lot of stuff was edited out, folks. I mean, a lot of stuff was edited out. Case in point, yeah, there's a little boy in the Japanese version who barely has any screen time in the Japanese version, but in the American version, he's basically centerpiece. They basically edit a lot of stuff out so he can make it look like that little boy is supposed to be the main character, whereas in the Japanese version, he never was. So, and this gets weird. I mean, weird in a pedophile kind of a way. And by which I mean, in the American version, the little boy basically becomes friends with Gammera, and Gammera just basically accepts a friendship. I'm like, okay, do I really need to make a comment about this? This is so stupid. Anyway, folks, yeah, this movie's terrible. It's bad. It's again, just like the other films I reviewed. This has some of the worst dubbing I've ever heard. The dubbing is ear cringing. Oh boy, oh, I had to make sure. I had to go to doctors for real quick to make sure I didn't go deaf. That's how bad this dubbing is. It's really bad, folks. It has some of the sloppiest editing too. The editing was pretty damn shite. It's really sloppy, folks. It really sloppy put together. And just no, I do not recommend this hunk of shit. Damn it, Mr. Monkey! How many times do I tell you? I'm not gonna buy you these god awful movies because these movies are so terrible. No, go and get your little primate bastard. Oh, you know what? I'm sick of your fucking shit. As you can see, the images from the VHS tape isn't very good, and the DVD copies aren't that much better. And of course, just like what they did with Godzilla, they inserted American actors in this version. And yes, they feel so forced. they're trying to act as if they're trying to make some commentary about what's going on in the world. And yeah, this boy, he's supposed to be the main character, which again, they're trying to make it kid friendly, folks. They're really trying to make this seem like a happy-go-lucky, family-friendly movie. All right, right, folks. Have this happen in the movie so that little Jimmy and his pals can have somebody to root for in the entire movie. And that's how this film feels, folks. Like a typical, generic family movie that's geared for the entire audience so that nobody get offended. That's how this movie comes off. It just came off, it was edited down so that nobody would get upset at watching the movie. So basically what I'm saying here is that anything and everything that would upset the viewer, primarily the parents, will be edited out just so nobody will be complaining. So basically this just feels like a watered down version of the original film, just so nobody will be complaining and whining and bitching about shit. So let's just get some crap together just so nobody will complain about anything. That's how it comes off, folks. So yeah, of course, gotta keep it with the family, the kids, and make them happy, make the family happy, make everybody happy. Even though we see Gammera destroying stuff throughout the entire feature, which again doesn't make a whole lot of sense when you think about it. But of course, safe, yes sirree. They're just dumb, folks. It just felt like censorship in a lot of ways. Oh no, better be careful, folks. That little kid here may complain about something because the movie itself might be too scary. Even though there's lots of destruction and lots of people dying in the streets. Yeah, come on now. Yeah, but anyway, it was so unnecessary, especially with the American actors. They don't amount to anything. Nothing amounts to anything in this film. So, yeah, this was a poorly executed, dubbed version, I guess you can say. Like I said a moment ago, and I never keep saying it, check out the Japanese version instead. The Japanese version is far superior than this. So yeah, folks, the lines of dialogue is bad. The lines of dialogue, it has to be some of the worst script writing ever heard from a movie. So the script writing is really bad. Again, especially from the American actors. And the dubbing has some pretty dumb dialogue as well, folks. So overall, folks, a really bad movie. You could easily make fun of. Nothing makes sense, really. And I didn't like the fact that they're really trying to hammer in the idea that this is supposed to be a family-themed film overall. It felt like it didn't need to exist at all because how god awful it is. This is a scene that was just inserted just for the American cut, where we get to see these two so-called experts arguing on this television over the possibility of the existence of this sort of monster. And in some ways, it's kind of funny, not in a good way. I can tell that the two actors were clearly having too much fun with this material that they were given, of course. So I guess you can say this could be a good comedy sketch. And it gives me another problem with this film is that, at least this version, nobody is wondering as to why this should even be here. It just comes off like it's just a comedy. That's how they took it. It's just a comedy sketch just because it's a giant monster movie. No one wants to take this seriously. It's a joke. And it's just a joke because it's a low budget film. And that's the thing, folks, I would bring up is that just because it's a low budget film with low production values, a lot of people over here in this country anyway, some people anyway, will view this film as a joke. I guess the American producers behind this version must have thought that this movie must have been a punchline. That's how they must have took it anyway. Because a lot of the scenes they include the American actors it just came out really over the top, folks. It just came out really, really over the top in a lot of ways. So, yeah, it just came out goofy. This entire movie came out goofy, even though the original version of this film was intended to be taken seriously. So, yeah, just dumb, folks. If you ask me, that's just really stupid. But of course, they want to keep it that way because well, there was some music for this version that was just credited for this version. And it wasn't good music, really, folks, like at all. A lot of the music here just came out rather bad. Again, even the music itself that was created specifically for the American version came off way more lighthearted compared to the Japanese cut. A lot of stuff was either shortened or just completely removed altogether. And I'm guessing that because a lot of people, they thought a lot of people over here wouldn't be patient enough to sit through longer scenes. I mean, don't get me wrong, I know there's a culture difference between over here in America and Japan, which in itself doesn't necessarily have to be a bad thing per se. But in this case, a lot of people would be speaking out of ignorance because of the fact they never seen the original version. Yeah, it's okay, I know that the Japanese versions, especially in this film, have been released on Blu-ray in recent years. But it might be a little too late, I guess you can say, because over the years, like I was saying earlier in the review, there'll be multiple different copies that were released from the different companies that released the American version of this Gamera film that I'm talking about. So the vast majority of people will be more familiar with the American cut. Unfortunately, I'm trying to judge the American. I guess you would say the views of the Japanese version just based upon what they saw from the American version, and not the Japanese version. So unfortunately, a lot of people may not actually get to see the actual one. I'm just trying to dismiss it because of what they've seen of the original one. So some people may want to watch and may give it a shot, but we just may never know. I guess if this game more popular, I guess I kind of wish it would, but whatever. I suppose I didn't like the way it was trying to aim for it. It felt like there was no direction really. There was no direction overall. Of course, it's on my to-do list, folks. So, boy, there's a lot more I can review. It feels like it's never going to end. Hey. While this film is nowhere nearly as shitty, as terrible as some of the American edited versions of the Godzilla films, but it's still bad, folks. It's still a pretty bad film. I mean, you can always poke fun at it, I guess. You can always just watch this movie, just make fun of it. I suggest just stick with the Japanese versions. I will post a link to all my reviews for all the previous Gamer films. The Japanese versions, of course, down below. I will put it in the description box, folks. So, anyway, this sorry sack shit of abomination gets an overall rating of a 4.5 out of 10. It gets a 4.5 out of 10 from me. And as always, thank you for watching. Take care. Until next time, see ya. Oh yeah.